So a lot of people worry about the question of whether what's been going on just recently with materials and semiconductors, things like lumber and steel, in terms of pricing and what appear to be shortages, speak badly for the economy moving forward. And there's a yes and a no to that, and some causality behind it as well. The fear that many have is of a rampant inflation and a world that's over hot in this regard, and that the shortages can impede growth. And in fact, the shortages can impede growth. Shortages can always impede growth. But these shortages come from a very simple feature, which is that not so much the semiconductor firms, but more particularly the materials firms, when COVID hit just over a year ago en masse, vendors in these categories, anticipating a very slow economic bounce back or no bounce back at all from that which was widely bandied at the time as this thing that would be so much worse economically than it's been for so much longer, they shut down capacity. Now, sometimes when you shut down capacity, you do it in a way that's going to make it a permanent shutdown. Sometimes you do it in a way that's going to make it a temporary shutdown. I don't care what you do. Either way, it takes longer to shutter them than it does to reopen them. And hence, as the economic rebound was so much faster than any of these firms anticipated, and the bounce back in that V-like pattern we talked to you about a year ago, plus, came on so strongly, they're caught without capacity. So yes, they raise prices. Yes, there are shortages, seemingly, as the economy's strong, when it wasn't expected by them to be strong, and they're short of capacity. With these strengths, to the extent they can, they'll add capacity, and as will the semiconductor industry. But all of these things take a long time to build, and as they take a long time to build, there's the permitting and the environmental stuff, and on and on and on before you can add plant capacity. And in doing that, this is going to end up, in some ways, impeding parts of growth. But it's inherently not inflationary, because inflation is about an overall macro phenomena, which shows some numbers that confuse people now because the year-over-year comparisons seem big, but people forget that those comparisons about right now are comparing against a year ago when those same prices were actually depressed. So you're comparing normalized prices to previously depressed prices. And in that, what this really does is slows down growth with pressures in some part of the economy that impede growth, taking away pressures in other parts of the economy, and is indicative of what actually is a slower growth economy that's not too hot, not too cold. In a lot of ways, it's not a bad economy with some parts in it which are bad. Subscribe to the Fisher Investment YouTube channel if you like what you've seen. Click the bell to be notified as soon as we publish new videos.